Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Dear students, we have seen about the management information system. Now today we talk about the organization structure. So we have seen in the MIS, management information system, okay, where the basic funda is to have some kind of decision making, okay, and the decision making is done on a different levels. So you are on a top level, or you are on a mid level, or you're on a low level, and everybody has to make a decision. And for that, because we see the strategic decision and the tactical decision and operational decision making, so we need to put people on a right level so that they can talk about the right decision making at a right level. So therefore we come the concept of organizational structure. So we need an organization to do that. So then the question comes in the mind, what is an organization? So organization something means where you put up something, in kind of a systematic fashion, in some kind of a structure. Okay, here we do what? It's a social unit of people, okay, which are systematically structured and managed. Why? To meet a need or to pursue collective goal on a continuing basis. That means you're organizing people in a different levels so that you can take up the decisions at each level so that you accomplish a one particular goal. So if you have this kind of a structure where there is some kind of structure, like there in a college, there is a principal. Now then there is HODs. Then there is we have the different departments, right? Where we have the examination department, where we have so we may have the managers or top level executives depending upon the departments. Say sports, Dr. Altaf Saab. Okay, examination, Dr. Ejaz, we have in ICSC. Okay, in then we have a principal, then we have the HOD or for academics for each and every department, and so on and so forth. So we can have some kind of an organization where people are arranged in some structure. It could be hierarchical, it could be flat, it could be tall. We'll see it later. But we need the people for different departments, maybe, or sometimes you may have a geography. Like for example, you have a Maruti Suzuki, outlet where the managers are depending upon the geographic region. Say we say, hey, he's the manager North, he's a manager J&K, so he sees J&K only, he sees Delhi only, and so on. So we could have this organized structure which can take part take have which can have into it the geography, which can have into it the departments. For example, hey, this is in sales side, hey, this is in marketing side. So we have overall what is called as an organization. Now why we need an organization? Because we want to have management structure which determines the relationship between functions, positions, which actually subdivides the job and delegates roles. Like I told you, hey, this is from sales executive, this is from the maybe from the service side. Say if you have a car, you have a sale where you sell your car and do marketing and very well do other things, and then there are people from the service side which provide service. Okay, then there is the parts which give you the parts. Then there is a marketing, so we can delegate our job to different departments. So it all needs a structure. Okay, it all needs a structure. Even if we have a principal, for example, and then we have HODs of each and every department. Okay, and then there are inside some teachers wherein we delegate the jobs. So the principal is someone who looks about the whole college, HOD only sees his department, and the teacher is the line manager which actually does the things for the HOD, and HOD works for the principal, and the whole structure works as a one unit called college. So we have an organization structure where we have this chain of command, okay, from top officials to this, then from this official to its own people, and from this official to its own set of group workers who actually work. Okay, now Organ structure can be tall, can be flat, can be virtual, it can be boundary-less. So what is that? If we have a tall organization structure, tall actually means hierarchical, where we have a top level, then we have this level, then we go from this level, then we move on to the next level. The bigger the organization, the taller this chain of command will be. It's kind of a chain of command from top level to next level to next level to next level. The more bigger the company you have, the taller your structure will be. For example, if you see some company, we have a president on a top, then we have vice president. Now, vice presidents can be vice president finance, vice president human resources, vice president marketing, procurement, manufacturing, engineering. These are different departments of a company, and we have vice presidents all over the place. Then this vice president have an accounts department, has a treasury department. This is operations and recruitment department, HR, so staff development department. Okay, then if we say vice president marketing, it has the services, the sales, the international sales, and so on. If we have a procurement where we want to purchase particular things, where we want to have a receiving and inspections and all. Same way is for example, the manufacturing, where you have the fabrication, you have got assembly, you got testing, you got product engineering, and so on. So this is the bigger the company, this structure will be taller, and this will be hierarchical. Okay, now in case of flat organization structure, okay, we don't have that much of levels. Okay, wherein we focus more on employees, that we give this whole job to the employee to so that there is an autonomy. That means people are doing of their own. Okay, they don't have the heads, they are themselves doing. So there is a self direction. Oh, okay, where the employees creative talents, and it all happens by the collaboration. So we are not having the hierarchical structure where we have chain of command. Rather, we have a few levels of this, and then the people are doing it in an auto mode. They do it of their own and make it happen. So this is most suitable for small companies and small organizations, not the big ones. Now in virtual organization, we have people meeting virtually. So direction is given virtually. That's in online mode. They meet virtually, and then like for example, we have a customer help desks which links customers and consultants together via the telephone or internet. Okay, and problem is solved while bringing, without, you don't have to bring people together or face to face. You have to do it virtually. Okay, so this is called a virtual organization structure. Like we have the customer care executives and all that, which helps the customers. Okay, in case of your Geo or Airtel or some other, where we have customer care structure in the sales department, which gives you which has a virtual organization structure, but people are directing and meeting virtually, not in a real time, in a face-to-face manner. Then we have a borderless organ structure, where you have seen hierarchical structure where for example, these people are directing only to this guy, and these managers are only directing to the top level manager of immediate top level manager, and so on. But in a boundaryless, this is a fluid, you can move from this level to the top level. So you're not restricted to do it here. So anybody can be your top manager and all that. Okay, so it is boundaryless. That means you don't have to follow the boundary. Okay, there is no limitations like vertical, horizontal, or external. Okay, it's flexible and it's responsive, and it depends on talents. Anyone can show up with a good talent, and he or she can manage the things. So it's not necessary. Say for example, we have the HOD computer science. He will be focusing on the computer application department, but maybe there is some other guys who are better suited to manage a particular job in our department. But if it is hierarchical or tall, our job will not be handled by the other HODs. But here in the boundaryless, any HOD can come up and see that this has got a good expertise or this particular job, so they can handle our department's stuff. So there is no boundary concept that you are limited to your department only. Now there's the features of organization structure, which tells us about what responsibilities are there, what roles are there, how it is organized, and what objectives and strategies are there. Now, if you have a good organization structure, that will bring effectiveness and efficiency. It will reduce the redundant actions. It promotes teamwork, improves communication, or it contributes to success. Or sometimes, it can contribute to the failure if people are not working properly. It can fail you, but it delegates the job to the different departments. It makes it easy. Say principal gives the HOD stuff to do about the computer science, and this is electronics department. Now by this way, the work can be done in a much fluid and better way. Now again, why we are doing the purpose of organizing, because if we have, for example, a Maruti Suzuki outlet, now there the job has to be divided into the departments. We have a specific job. Say for example, I go to the company for servicing. I have to only to change my mobile oil. Okay, some people go to the that same outlet and they want to buy a car. Some go for loans. So they divide these jobs, okay, into different departments. If there is no organized structure, so it will be all messed up. We don't know where to go. But if it is having some kind of organization, we exactly know which department is dealing with what, so that diverse organizational tasks can be coordinated in a much better way. Okay, so it can build the relationship between individuals, groups, and departments. Okay, so there is the formal lines of authority that the sales department will not deal with the, say, servicing of the car and all. Okay, so he doesn't have an authority. He will tell you, go to that room, or go to that person who will be dealing with these things. So it helps and makes the job is a complex job of whole Maruti Suzuki outlet, where there are lots and lots of things to do, but it makes it in if we have organization, it makes it efficient and in a better way. Okay, so overall, this is my organ structure, where we have a owner or a president, then we have the accounting manager, marketing manager, operation manager, HR manager, and then there are the subordinates. So we call this thing as a chain of command. Okay, where the from top level to bottom level the command flows. And authority, who has what authority, it depends upon the on what level you are. Then with the organization, you have a responsibility or accountability. You have an obligation or expectation. You are responsible. You become if it is not in an organization manner, nobody will be responsible. If you have a problem in your servicing and you have some issues, you can the servicing manager is accountable for that. Okay, now there is a unity of command, because there should be one boss he should report to. There should not be multiple bosses. Okay, and the delegation, that means the job has to be given to the specific people. Okay, this is possible only when we have an organization. So organization brings departmentalization, because we have different departments. This way, the complex job of a company will be divided into the departments. Okay, so when you also expand, you can have a different departments in terms of your, for example, the geography, the location. Okay, so you can add up the more products. So that means you have a different departments which deal with the products. Okay, you can deal with the engage with different markets. Depending upon the markets, you may have the organization which deal with different markets. Okay, for example, if I'm talking of the car, now there could be SUVs market, there could be, because there's a competition coming up from Hyundai, the Maruti Suzuki adds up things, okay, in terms of SUVs or hatchback cars or the sedan type cars. So there are different markets you can touch up. So because they have different departments, so it can be handled much easier. So this department which you are doing, departmentalization which you are doing, it depends upon the functionality, what functions you are doing. Maybe you are doing sales, you are doing some other things. Depending upon the product, what is your product? Are you dealing with the, say, parts? Okay, maybe there are these servicing parts, like you have a bumpers, you have other parts of a car, which is the product is different. Or you may have different types of cars. Say for example, we are dealing with the tractors, we are dealing now with the jeeps. So they could be different depending on the different products. We have different departments, maybe different customers. Depending on what kind of customers you have, you can have the different departments. On a geographic region, you can have a different departments. For example, this is Kashmir, this is Delhi. So depending on that, you have a different departments as per the geography. And also the process, that means what kind of work you do. Depending on that also you have a different departments. So if you have a department on the on in terms of function, you divide the department in terms of functional departmentalization. What does that mean is, you arrange or have different departments on the base of what each section or department does. Okay, so you have a president, then you have a marketing, finance, production. So because marketing is a different functional unit, and finance deals with finance things, and production deals with production, so you have a different departments in terms of what function a particular department does. So you have a particular plant, say for the company, you have a plant manager, and then you have a manager human resources, which is used for hiring people, interviewing people, okay, getting people to the job. Then there is a manager who purchasing, who works in the purchasing things. Then some people work in accounting, and some people work in engineering. So depending on what you do, what function you do, you have a different department. Now you can have a department on the basis of what product you are selling. Okay, because we have different types of products maybe. So you have a president, then you have cosmetics, the cosmetic department, the clothing department, the appliance department. Okay, like we have in case of our college, there could be the computer applications, the MBA, the commerce, and other guys. So this is about what we are, what kind of product we are selling in case of company, or what we are teaching in case of a college. So then you have a president, you have vice president fuels, vice president lubricant, vice president chemicals. So because depending upon the product, what product you are selling, okay, what product you are dealing with, you have a different kinds of departments. Now the fuels have marketing, planning, distribution, and manufacturing, and lubricants also have, chemicals also have, but this is different products what you are selling in your company, and you have a departments in terms of product. Now, depending upon the customer, what kind of customer you have? Do you have a government customer? Do you deal with the industries, or do you deal with common people like consumers? So you have a different departments. So you have a department which deals with the government, those tenders and all. Then there you are also dealing with the industry. You may also deal with the customers like common people. So you have a different departments on the base of what kind of customers we have. Okay, like director of sales, so manager retail account, manager wholesale account, manager government account. So you could have a government account, you could have wholesale business, you could also be dealing with the retail where you sell to the individual people. So depending on that, you have a different department depending upon the customer. Does make sense? Now same way you have a geographical departmentalization, where you can have a geography, like for example, hey, this belongs to the central, south, northeast, southwest. Or we could have, say, in terms of states, that this is a this is the J&K head, this is the uh, Delhi head, or we could simply say it's a northeast head, southwest head, who sees all these things. So we have a departments in terms of geography. Okay, like it could be international, depending on the international business. If we have multinational company, then we have the sales director Europe, sales director Asia. So we have different departments in terms of the geography. Now there is also the process, because if your product have to go through some certain stages, okay, to make it, that's called the process. So we have a different department in terms of processing, like we have the receiving department, we have a saving department, we have a shipping department. So the department which have built up, say for example, we are producing milk like Khyber. So one department will be which get the milk from the milkmen, okay, of the state. The people, they deal with getting the milk from the cows of common people, and they receive that milk to that. Now there is a department which process that, makes that infection free and makes them into that packets, okay, and label them as a Khyber milk and all that, okay, and process them. And this department is about that, you are what they do is they actually heat, they boil your milk, they boil that milk and then cool it quickly, okay, and it gets preserved, it will not, so that's processing. So you have that department which processes the milk. Then you have another department which sells that milk to either people or to the wholesalers or to whatever. So we have three departments there for Khyber milk production. So we have departments in terms of the process, okay. So we have plant superintendent, then there is a sewing department manager, then is planning and mining, for example, assembly department, lacquering, finishing, and inspection, and so on. So same way in case of our milk, we may have the receiving manager who sees how much milk is being bought per day by the milk company from the people, and who is getting what and how much of, and that hisab kitab and all. And then there is a processing unit which will process the milk. They will take, the processing manager will take care of how much unit of milk we got, how much we processed, is what good, was it bad, and everything he will take care of. Then there is the selling manager who will try to sell that milk product, final product, to the people out, right? So this is the pros of departmentalization. The department can be staffed with specialized training, shared management responsibilities, supervision is facilitated, coordination with the department is easier, so you can coordinate with each other, you can have a much efficient structure where the job is being divided into many departments, and then that particular job can be done easily if we divide them into different parts. There are also some cons in it, because it makes little slower the process, because interdepartment documentation activity is not possible, because whatever you are doing in a department, you cannot have a documentation, because decision making becomes a little slower, because you have to wait for all the departments. But if we do not do the departmentization, then everything will be messed up. It will be easy to mess up things. Ab kitna दूध आया kitna gaya, and accountability now is with the sales manager. Accountability is with the, so if there is some problem, the sales manager is accountable, so he will do it efficiently. So I don't think that there will be there can be we can say it's a cons, but just making it a little slower doesn't make it a con. So the conclusion is that we need to have an organization, okay, where different people are on a different level, and the job is delineated to all of them, so different tasks. So they have a specialized people, we put on the specialized people on a specialized level to do a particular job, particular subtask, and this overall structure works together to one goal, to accomplish one goal, or what are the objectives we have. So department structure is very important, and the better department structure and better people and better skilled people at a particular level makes it a good structure, and it works best for a company. Okay, so I think that's all for today. See you next time. Until then, ma salama.